What would happen to trucking if all the trains in the United States stopped running? Yeah, it's hard to imagine if all the freight trains in the United States stopped running all at once. Would that have an effect on trucking at all? Well, I don't think it would very quickly. I mean, if they stopped running and they weren't going to pick back up, I'm sure trucking would take up the slack. It would just take a long time, and that supply chain would be even slower. Well, we may get the chance to see what happens if everything stops dead in the water, because the railroads may be going on strike. The unions of the railroads may be going on strike this Friday, September 16th, I think it is. Now, I haven't heard anything about it in any of the media, mainstream media, Fox News, none of them, about the strike coming on, because apparently the railroads and the unions have been negotiating for a really long time, and they had a cooling off period where they didn't do it for a while. Then I think the government assigned an arbitration board of some sort, and they came up with some compromises. And from what I understand, 5 out of the 12 unions that are in this negotiation with the main railroads all over the country have pretty much accepted the terms of this compromise. There's like a large raise involved, all these sort of things. I've also heard that like 5 of the other 12 are thinking about it, but they're not as convinced, and 2 aren't having any of it. Now, here's the main sticking point, I think, with these unions that are not quite ready to accept or just not having it. I didn't know this, or maybe I did, but do you know how many crew members are on each freight train? 2. There's 2 crew members on a train. I thought there was at least 3 or 4. But the railroads want to reduce that to 1 crew member per freight train. They say it will help them compete better when trucking goes all autonomous. Having less crew on the train would be better. I don't know why. To me, it seems like a safety issue. I would want at least one other person with me on a train, help keep me accountable, 2 sets of eyes, all those things, right? I think that's the main sticking point. The unions don't agree to go into 1 crew member, but the railroads want to. So what happens if all these trains just stop running all at once? How many trains do you think are running each day across the United States? Well, 7,000 freight trains are running each day. They would be shut down. 7,000 a day. Not just 7,000 trains, but 7,000 individual trains a day. Now, you think trucking could pick up the slack, but like I said before, nothing quick's going to happen. It would be a logistical nightmare, I think, to get the trucks where they need to be to get the freight off the trains and then get them headed towards their destination. Plus, the articles I've read said that it would take almost 500,000 trucks per day to pick up the slack for those 7,000 freight trains. We can't hire enough drivers, and we don't have enough room on the road infrastructure for the trucks we have right now. There's no way we got enough for almost 500,000 more trucks on the road just to take up the slack of these trains. So what's it going to do? How's it going to affect? It may not affect trucking all that much, but it's going to affect the economy. The supply chain is going to slow down, all that stuff. Now, they have until Friday to come to an agreement, and then there's a possibility of a strike. I read somewhere there where there may be a 2 or 3 day cooling down period after the negotiations go flat to where they can start gearing up for the strike, and then they strike. I don't know. But the main issue with the railroads is not just having these trains sitting still. You can let the customers know your freight's going to be late. Our trains are sitting still because of the strike, right? But what they're worried about is hazmat and high dollar and high security freight that they have on these trains. How they're going to secure them, what are they going to do with them? So what most of the railroads have done already this last week is have an embargo on those shipments. They're not picking up any freight, hazmat freight. They're not picking up any high security freight at all, so they don't get them on the trains and then end up having them shut down somewhere with the hazmat freight on them. So that's their main concern about the hazmat freight. So tell me what you think about the railroads going on strike. And I'm wondering why I haven't heard on any of the mainstream media about this coming up. I may have saw brief glimpses of this maybe coming, but I haven't seen any real intense scrutiny of why and what's going to happen if they strike. But if they do, I bet you'll see it then. So stick around, watch some more videos of mine. I appreciate that. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. If you have subscribed to this channel, I really appreciate it. And we'll see you later.